We need to clear out this camera. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Oh, nah, that don't look that bad. That doesn't look that bad. We are at the, I'm not telling y'all where we're at. Different studio setup today, as y'all can see. Same energy though, same energy. So we'll give it a sec. Let the folk tap in. I'm checking the voice. We are good. We are good. Y'all can hear me. It's coming across. I guess it's coming across clear. Yeah, I just went downstairs. Thought I was gonna have a bit of a power brunch. I'm at a hotel today, and they're supposed to have like this. They're supposed to be like the power brunch where everybody, all the influencers in the city, the political influencers come. But apparently nobody pulled up today, so it's all good. Maybe I had the wrong day. I was staying here anyway. I just figured I'd shoot my shot. But we got a lot to discuss today. We'll give it a second. Give everybody a second to tap in. As you are joining, please make sure that you like for the algorithm. That's going to definitely help. And I guess I'll start introducing some of these topics we got for y'all today. But let's give it a sec. Give people a chance to tap in. I'm going to make sure that I send it to my group chat so y'all can send it to y'all as well, whether you're listening to it live or you're listening to it later. All right. All right. Let's not wait around too long. Take a look. All right, so we're not gonna wait around too long. We already got my brother, the biggest boss in the building. We got Uncle Brother in the building. We finally got the chat set up and going on Instagram. So if y'all are listening and y'all do want to tap in with us on our Instagram, definitely do that. We got the group chat going up in there. Yeah, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you are welcomed. If you're a free thinker, you are welcomed. And if you just want to engage in some dope combo outside of the show, you're definitely welcome. Just shoot us a comment. Let us know your Instagram. Follow us on @the OG Network on Instagram, and we'll get you connected and tapped in there. All right, so what we got on the schedule? Uncle Brother, we're going to need you today. So we got a lot of stuff to get through today. We got Fani Willis. She's off the case with, she was dealing with Nathan Wade and dealing with all the messy stuff. She's apparently off that case, but the case is still there. So somebody can potentially, I guess, pick it up. We got an interesting conversation with Tucker Carlson and Tom Homan on some of the migration issues and some suggestions that are being made here and there. And then I believe there's a video with Tom Homan even interacting with some of the Chicago residents. So we know that Tom Homan has made Chicago one of his areas of focus. So we'll go over that. I got a question for y'all after that. Is any death, killing, war justified? So we're going to tap into that. And then we got a couple different videos on Joe Biden's decline. And apparently there may be something going on because I'm hearing that there's been some canceled trips between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And we're gonna, maybe wait around for that, but we got a couple other things to discuss because apparently the Wall Street Journal just put out a report that clearly identified Joe Biden's cognitive decline well before it was exposed to the rest of us. And actually, they're even detailing certain changes that were made in the beginning of his presidency to accommodate his cognitive decline. So we'll look at that. We're going to look at a little clip from the Kamala Harris speech. She decided to jump back out there and give us a motivational speech for the holidays, as if anybody needed it, but we're here for it to review it. So we'll take a look at that. And then we'll look at a video of another Democrat that comes out. I believe her name is Lily Liu. I have when we go to the video, I'll confirm the name, but interesting. A lot of Democrats are speaking out. We're hearing the Van Joneses come out and say like, hey, Donald Trump's smarter than everybody. Democrats, we did terrible. You're hearing a lot of Democrats take that level of accountability, but some of them are getting criticized, and she was one of them. So we got an interesting combo on that. What else do we got? Justin Trudeau, our woke politics and westernized values and cultures, is it dying? And if it's not dying, will it destroy the countries that aren't able to kill it? So that would be the question that I asked. We got a couple videos on this spending bill. We're going to get into that a little bit. And then we got a couple funny videos, one in particular on Bill Gates. And then I got a question. The last question I think we'll finish off with is a clip that I saw with a conversation between Lil Baby and Lil Yachty. Yeah, we're talking about Lil Baby and Lil Yachty because they bring up an interesting question as far as, does it make sense to get married? And, we'll get into that a little bit. So let's start off. What's going to be the icebreaker? I guess we'll start off with the Fani Willis. We'll keep it in order. We'll start off with the Fani Wills, go over that a little bit, and just start knocking out the rest of these. Y'all know we're doing Hot Topic Friday. All right, so let me make sure y'all can see the screen on that one. Get that up and running, and let's go from there.
Prosecutor overseeing an election interference case against President. A Georgia appeals court has disqualified the top prosecutor overseeing an election interference case against President-elect Donald Trump and his allies, a decision that could upend the case. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis was disqualified because she had a romantic relationship with an attorney she hired to help run the investigation. The decision overturns a lower court ruling earlier this year that said Willis could continue in the role. Our William Brangham has been following the legal cases against Mr. Trump and joins us now. So, William, what was the appeals court's argument in removing Fani Willis from this case?
Their argument, and I should say this came as a bit of a surprise because the presiding judge, as you said, Scott McAfee, who's a conservative appointed by Republican Governor Brian Kemp, had criticized Willis's relationship and said it created this appearance of impropriety, but said if you get rid of the man you're having a relationship with, you can stay on the case. She did that. This appeals court comes in, and while agreeing that this was really just about an appearance of impropriety, they said that this case was so rare and so unusual that it, quote, that disqualification was mandated.
Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think that they're actually disqualifying her for her relationship with Nathan Wade? Or do you see it as this just being a lot of indict things for Trump for that he wasn't already indicted for, and then the things that he was already dealing with, a lot of these things are getting dropped. Do y'all think that this is the case of that, where it's like, hey, let's just figure out a way to get rid of Fani? It's a bad look. You see Fani, you see Letitia James, you see Governor Hochul, a lot of these people that are speaking up against Trump after he got elected regarding different issues. The Letitia James one was a little bit different, well, a lot different, where she looked like she was readying the troops in New York to go against and stage a civil war against Donald Trump. But do you see this as a shift where it was okay to villainize Donald Trump, or not even villainize Donald Trump, but go after Donald Trump when he wasn't the president? They were trying to do all these things to prevent him from being president. Now it seems like a lot of this energy is shifting, where a lot of these people had courage to go against him when he wasn't running and he was the underdog in a lot of ways. But that energy seems to shift now. Is that what we're seeing? Or do you think that they just all of a sudden realize, like, okay, she lied about her relationship. She's clearly still in a relationship with him? Because I don't know if y'all saw the video that we posted maybe a couple months ago where Fannie's daughter like had a car issue. And of course, Fannie pulls up with Nathan Wade. Why? I don't know. But I don't know. That would be the question that I'm asking.
Now, they've been criticized a fair amount for this ruling. It was a 2-1 decision. But that's the ruling, and she's off the case.
The underlying case, though, hasn't been dismissed. Could it be prosecuted by someone else potentially?
Potentially. Fani Willis's office is appealing to the Georgia Supreme Court to overthrow this so she could get back in the driver's seat. Unclear if that's going to happen. If she loses that, then there's this Republican-led Council of Prosecutors in Georgia, and they will be the ones to decide, drop the case, continue the case, and then assign a new prosecutor to that. Unclear if that's going to happen or not. Hanging over all of this, though, is also this Department of Justice Office of Legal Counsel policy, which says that no sitting president can be prosecuted. Now, Department of Justice, that's usually thought of as covering just federal cases, not state and local. But the belief among many legal experts is that state and local prosecutors would have to honor this as well. And so.
And I wanted to show, there was another video that I had up here. But no, I'm glad that we showed that video because that's kind of giving all the information on it. But the overall is with these situations that are going against Trump, do you think people will continue to just kiss the ring? Do you think people will? Oh, shoot. Did it just go off the screen? My apologies. I think I just went off the screen. But so I'll kind of say what I was just saying again. I'm not sure if y'all heard. And Uncle Brother, I saw the Candace stuff, and I don't know. I was like, I don't know if we're going to touch on Candace, but we may actually end up getting into that. But my real quickly, just to kind of put a cap on the Fani Willis case, the thing that sticks out to me is that you have these, election fraud cases. Everything, or think about all the things that were seen as conspiracy theories. It was a conspiracy theory with 2020 and the jab. It's a conspiracy theory with what just came out with Trump. I forgot. I forgot. There was a couple things that we reported on last show where all these things are coming out with Trump. With January 6th, with the FBI being involved and having informants at January 6th. A lot of these things that were seen as conspiracy theorists when Trump and a lot of Republicans were saying, like, oh, it seems like Antifa, it seems like the FBI is involved in the January 6th for inciting those riots, inciting that insurrection. If all of these things that were all conspiracy theories are seeming to come to light, are we heading down a path where eventually there's going to be some information that comes out that actually does say that the election was given to Biden in 2020? Election fraud that perhaps did win? I don't know, but it's just something to consider. I think that a lot of these cases, these people should just, move to the side, like stop. Trump is the president. Trump is going to be the president. We know that the Democrats tried to act like they were the ones that standed on justice, that nobody was above the law. It's all gone out the window. And that's going to be one of the themes of this show, where everything that we're seeing, it's almost as if the Democratic Party is crumbling, or at the very least restructuring and losing a lot of the support that they've had. when we think about Democrats and the Democratic Party moving forward, what will be their base? What will be their base? What will be their base? The Democrats, in my opinion, they're one demographic group away from losing their fiercest soldiers. And what is that demographic, Maya? Black women. The Democratic Party are losing. If they lose Black women, they're losing their fiercest soldiers. And then y'all tell me who will be their base. Will it be the LGBTQ community? I don't know. But as we go through this show today, a lot of it is going to be focused on the Democrats and them losing themselves and what exactly their party will look like in the future. Shout out to my brother Urs in the building. We in the city, baby. We in the city. We in the city. We came out here. We stayed Wednesday and Thursday and last night for Mom's birthday. So, all right, let's get on to the next video. So interesting conversation with, I believe we're going to go to, I got my producer over here filling in for you, Urs, holding me down with some videos. But we're going to move to Tom Homan and Tucker Carlson. Interesting conversation on that. And Uncle Brother, if you have a particular clip on Candace Owens, because Candace been in the news, whether on Pierce or having Pierce on her show, she also was given Anti-Semite of the Year. I kind of was leaving that alone, but if it's a topic that needs to be discussed, if you got a quick video, send a link. But if not, maybe we'll focus on it on Monday. But you know, it's Hot Topic Friday, so this would be the day to dive into it. But let's move on to, what did I say we're moving to? Conversation with Tom Homan and Tucker. All right, so let me get that on the screen for y'all. Blow that up.
Liberals in the United States who hate. Is there any way to move millions of Haitians into rich white liberal neighborhoods? I mean it. The people who did this are rich white liberals in the United States who hate themselves and the country. And to punish it, they invited all these people illegally from failed countries, but they can't stand the idea of living near these people because they're racist. So why wouldn't you move every Haitian to Bethesda and Brookline and Aspen and Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket like today? Can we do that? I will donate money if we can do that.
We absolutely could. Look what the Martha's Vineyard did. They put them on there, kind of like, you know, this whole
thing. They called the cops immediately because they're racist.
Governor Abbott done more to secure this border than anybody in this administration. Guy's great. DeSantis the same. Do you know who first came up with the idea of busing people to sanctuary cities? It was President Trump. I remember sitting in the Oval Office one time, and he said, why don't we do that? So we started putting plans together, but the Remain in Mexico program was such a game changer, we couldn't fill a bus up if we wanted to.
How do y'all feel about Tom Homan? How do y'all feel? Matter of fact, have y'all, so what's so funny is when this conversation comes up, a lot of the argument seems to be centered around, well, you can't just bust people out of here. You can't just deport people. These countries that we're sending them back to, they're not just going to accept people. We've talked about how a lot of the liberals that comment on this, they totally disregard the fact that they actually created the problem. Totally disregard it. So my question for y'all would be, okay, now that the problem is here, what do y'all think the best way out forward is? Do you guys agree with a Tom Homan approach where it has to be a hard hand, you know, addressing this issue? Do y'all agree with going into Chicago and using maybe the military if the police or whoever else is there, law enforcement, isn't capable of performing whatever Tom Homan directs them to do? What do we think the solution is? And hold on. All right, so hold on. Let me read Uncle Brother's comment real quick. But that's what do y'all think the solution is? What do y'all think the solution is? And it's funny, even being in New York City these last couple of days, you know what's I'll tell you what, I have to be honest. To have so many people come into a city, I don't necessarily see a lot of how can I put this? I don't see a lot of the migrants. Do you see them around? So I guess so on the and maybe this is another example of what Tucker Carlson is saying. based on where we are, I don't see a lot of the migrants on the Upper East Side. I don't see a lot of them. And this is to Tucker's point, maybe, where you have all of these people that are coming in the neighborhoods that they're going to be going into. A lot of them are the neighborhoods that are already in disarray, are already not functioning properly, already have failed school systems, already have failed infrastructure. They already have so many different issues in a lot of these impoverished communities where a lot of the migrants are coming in. It's like now the people are starting to realize it. And the video that we play after this is going to be a conversation with Tom Homan and some Chicago residents. But it's almost like the BS has gotten exposed in every single area. The BS has gotten exposed. All right, so Uncle Brother wrote, Jeffrey Sachs touched on what you're talking about, exposing the truth. His hope is that Trump will seize the moment and bring the truth to light. He'd be seen as the greatest president of all time. And this, Uncle Brother, it's funny that you mentioned that, because that's something that, like, we've obviously, I think we understand Trump's potential. We understand Trump's potential. And it's almost as if, you know, Trump just came on the scene a little bit too early. And it seems as if the cycle is perfect for a guy like Trump right now. It seems like where society didn't appreciate maybe Trump's personality, a leader like him with his characteristics 8 years ago, 4 years ago, we're starting to realize that that's what we need right now. We're starting to realize that we had the nice coach and the nice substitute teacher, the teacher that allowed us to get away with everything. But now we're realizing that we're not properly prepared for the test at the end of the school year that we were supposed to be getting prepared for with our teacher. That's what it seems like is happening right now. We have Trump, and what does he really have to do to become the greatest president of all time? What does Trump really have to do? We've joked about it on this show before, where he can literally become the greatest president of all time for stuff that he does before he even gets back in office. If he's able to figure out, and it's almost what we said initially was, if he's able to figure out a solution or bring some type of peace to Israel and Palestine, if he's able to end the war between Russia and Ukraine, if he's able to put an end to a lot of the migrants coming over, the legal migrants coming over the border, if he's able to do all those things, even before he's in office, it's like, what else would he have to do? And he's able to boost the economy. If he's able to do those four things, would he be considered the greatest president of all time? Four things: Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine, the border, and the economy. Those are three significant things that and it's prime for him right now, because we are simply appreciating who he is in a different way, in my opinion. We're appreciating it. Even Democrats that can't stand Trump, it seems as if I'm not going to say all of them, but the ones that I talk to, a lot of them are more so, well, let's just see what happens. You know, I joke around with them. I'm like, are you a Trumper now? And they're like, I'll never be a Trumper, but I'm okay with just seeing what happens. All right, we'll see. We'll see. What is that quote that we always talk about from the Gladiator? Shout out to Mama Lay. Shout out to Doug, Big Bro Doug in the building.
We beat the problem before we actually got to that. That was really
the problem, though, is that the people doing it didn't have a precise enough understanding of rich white liberal culture, but I do. So they would bus them to New York, then they wind up in Midtown and Queens. Okay, none of the people who are doing this were affected by it. But I could give you a list of zip codes where, like, Tony Blinken lives and stuff like that, because I know that world. They need to be moved into the neighborhoods of the people who are calling you racist for wanting to have laws and borders. Like, they need to feel the effects of their own destruction. So just text me and I will send you the zip codes. I mean it too. Because what happened is they opened the borders, and then all these people like moved to Jackson, Wyoming, to the least diverse zip codes in the country. They literally ran to the hills to get away from diversity.
I think we need to add to that, though, the senators and congressmen are pushing back on inboard border security. 100%. You know, moving illegal aliens right outside of the Vice President Kamala Harris's residence, that was a game changer too. So I think not only those who are well financed, how about the politicians who are pushing back against any form of enforcement of our border laws?
Well, that's why.
And does this show the disconnect? And I think that when it comes to politicians, perhaps the number one quality that a politician should have, or that what makes a politician powerful, is what? For me, it's relatability. And in order to relate to a group of people, you have to be connected to that group of people. And we are seeing, maybe now more than ever, how disconnected a lot of politicians are to the people. When we're getting ready to show the video of the Chicago residents complaining about their mayor, complaining about the migrants coming in there, that's a disconnect with the community. When we see a lot of these topics, whether it's like, think about what Tucker Carlson and what he's explaining. A lot of these things that are being implemented, they're not going to impact the actual people that are pushing them. We see this disconnect when it comes to the Luigi Mangione situation, where it's like the elite is not realizing how people actually feel on the ground level. Not to say that anything is justified. We got to keep saying that. But it just seems like we went from the Democrats and growing up, seeing the Democrats as the party of the people, seeing them with the feet on the ground, seeing them as the people that we can talk to, the people that come from where we come from, the people that we can relate to it completely shifting to that being the Republican Party. Think about it. It went from the Democrats being the cool party with Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and the conservatives and the Republicans being the corny party with George Bush, with Mitt Romney running, like us looking at them as like the elite racist or just country redneck folk. Let's be honest. It is completely flipped. At least our perspective of it is flipped. The Republicans are now the ones that are speaking common sense rhetoric, not giving us the lip service and the word salads that we're getting ready to show with the Kamala Harris speech. The Republicans are the ones that are actually showing that they got their feet on the ground, that are bringing common sense approach to a lot of these issues that we're facing, whether it's the border. And it's just say, hey, let's just do what makes sense. Why are these people coming in here? Why we can't handle them in these particular areas? Why are you overwhelming the American population with a lot of these migrants, especially in a lot of these cities that can't handle them? Like, what is the point? And Republicans are simply the ones that are coming to the table and saying, nah, we shouldn't have this. It should be America first. Where the Democrats tried to make it seem as if, oh, that approach is nationalist, it's racist, all these different things. People are not with that BS anymore. People are seeing that this whole woke culture, this whole Western culture that has been created, all of these things that we grew up thinking were cool, we're starting to realize that they did not work. We're starting to realize that they don't make sense. We're starting to realize all these things, and it was shown in the election, and in my opinion, it's continuing to show, where you have a lot of the pundits that are coming out now all of a sudden in support of Trump, now all of a sudden calling out the Democratic Party. We're seeing the shift happen right before our eyes.
Why Bernie Sanders needs a ton of Haitians in Vermont, because it's blindingly white. It needs to change. I couldn't agree more.
So Uncle Brother said, release the Kennedy assassination papers. We're talking about that. I was talking to my parents about that, where you got guys like Kash Patel. You got a guy like now Kash Patel that's running the FBI. Let me ask y'all this. Are y'all scared of them releasing the Kennedy assassination papers? Are you scared of them releasing? Oh man, I know the service is going in and out. I check to make sure that the service is cool. Are y'all scared of them releasing the 9/11 files? What do we think? If we find some stuff in there, do y'all think that it could ruffle some feathers that we're not ready to ruffle? Are y'all nervous of what may come out of who killed Kennedy, of who was involved in 9/11? Are we scared of these type of things? Or is it just now like, nah, we just rather know it is what it is. So whoever puts out the truth, that's who we're rocking with. I don't know. I guess we'll see. It did, yeah. Sorry about the service. Is there like a modem that I can connect to? I have a cord. Can you check to see if there's a modem? Appreciate that. Sorry about the service if the service is a little sketchy. But yeah, so Uncle Brother wrote, Bill Clinton is responsible for the Democrats' transformation. He set up the Democratic Legislative Committee. The goal was to make the Democrats more like Republicans. Wow. And Bill Clinton's a funny one to me. Bill Clinton's always a funny one to me. I mean, that was our first black president, right? He was the one that everybody loved. He was the first slick talking Barack. Like he was the gifted orator before Barack Obama. He was the one that black folk loved. He was the one that was he got his office up in Harlem and people were loving it. And just like Barack Obama, we excused a lot of his behavior. We didn't even pay attention to a lot of the things that he was doing, like you're pointing out, Uncle Brother, just because he was a cool dude, right? Just because we saw him as the first black president and one that could relate to a lot of the black folks. So I don't know. Neither here nor there. There wasn't anything to connect it to. All right, so y'all got to just bear with us. We know it's cutting in and out, so apologies about that. All right, so I might have said it was just for a second. All right, so the next video that I wanted to show y'all. So this is Tom Homan talking to some Chicago residents. So
sir, please, I don't care what Brandon Johnson tell you. Please come clean up Chicago, Illinois. We need you, Tom Homan. This place sucks right now. And like you said, our city sucks because our governor sucks and our mayor sucks. You were absolutely right about that. And I mean, it couldn't get more broad than that. And I just really appreciate you coming here, just speaking to the people of Chicago, you know, listening to us more than our own mayor. You're actually doing a better job than the mayor is when it comes to listening to us.
Tom?
Well, look, I was there 2 weeks ago, and I spoke to the people there, and you're right. I said the mayor sucks and the governor sucks because of them protecting illegal aliens in your city, especially criminal illegal aliens. Their number one responsibility is protecting the communities. So look, I made a promise 2 weeks ago that I'd be back, and I will be back. When this operation starts, I will be in Chicago. And men and women at ICE are going to be on the streets doing their job. So I appreciate your support. And when I was out there, I met with black pastors. I met with leaders of the community. They're all on the same page. The only one on a different page is the mayor. And we're going to prove to him that we can come in and make that city safer with or without his help.
All right. So this is, when I hear this type of stuff, this is why there has to be so much fear mongering when it comes to the Republican Party. This is why we grew up thinking the things that we think about the Republican Party, and why Democrats so passionately needed us to see the Republicans as evil. Because when we don't even entertain certain solutions from the Republicans, when we won't even entertain their perspective, when we will just see them as racist and paint them in that, or see them in that light, it only gives us one option. It only gives us the Democrats. And therefore, they're able to do exactly what Uncle Brother said, punk us just like Barry Soetoro, aka Barack Obama. They're able to manipulate our minds because we're seeing them as the only option. It's like if I'm only being fed a particular type of food, I have nothing else to compare it to. I just think that, hey, this is the good food, and they convinced me that everything at that restaurant across the street is terrible. So therefore, all I know is this restaurant. And we're starting to get exposed to that other restaurant, and we're seeing it like, damn, there's actually some good food over here. We didn't know that this was available to us. We didn't know that these things were here. And that's what's happening with the Republican Party. And I think the Republicans, the restaurant is also starting to see like, damn, we thought that y'all just didn't like our restaurant, so we didn't even try to appeal to y'all. But yeah, we'll make some stuff for y'all. We got some vegan dishes we can incorporate into our menu. That's exactly what is happening. The Republicans, and that's why I say it's like the perfect time. It's like it's now where the people are starting to be okay to opening our minds to something different, and the Republican Party is doing the very same thing. They're looking at it like, yo, we thought that y'all, like, we don't need to be oppositions. We can actually work together because a lot of this, we want a lot of the same things. We just didn't necessarily know how to work together, or if we could work together to accomplish these things. Oh man, it keeps freezing. Hello, can I get a check? All right. So, yeah, sorry about it if it keeps freezing. No, we're not out the country. There has to be a modem here. Totally my fault. I don't know the service. We'll keep going. We'll keep going. We'll keep going. Hopefully y'all can bear with me a bit. Let me actually try something instead. Here we go. All right, so I just reset the connection. So hopefully this is a little bit better. If not, bear with me. If not, bear with me. But hopefully that's a little bit better. But yeah, that last video to me, it shows us a lot. People are starting to be open to working with the Republicans, and it's starting to make sense. People that we didn't see as partners, people that we didn't see that could work together. We're seeing it kind of happen right in front of our eyes. And we're seeing somebody who everybody said was so divisive in Donald Trump bring a lot of different types of people to the table based on just common sense, I think, a common sense approach. So let's get into this next video. Let's get into this Piers Morgan uncensored conversation. So this conversation I really wanted to have with y'all. And it seems to come up every month and a half when we start talking about wars. And it's just based on a question that I wrote down right here. Is any death and or killing justified? That would be my question for y'all. Is any death or killing justified? And I want to play this part of this interview. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with the Young Turks. We've played Cenk on our video, and if you know anything about him, he's usually one that can be a little bit irrational. He's definitely radical with a lot of his views, but he said something that I thought was spot on, and I want to play it for y'all. And it's regarding war, regarding violence. So let me.
But that's got nothing to do with the cold-blooded execution of an executive. And this hero worship of this guy, Luigi Mangione, he's not a hero. Is he?
So, Piers, I abhor violence, and you know that on every topic, including Israel, Gaza, I always say the same thing, which is violence is both deeply immoral and deeply counterproductive. It's a surrender in the battlefield of ideas.
Violence is a surrender in the battlefield of ideas. Like I said, usually Cenk is a little bit out there. But when he said that, it definitely resonated with me. It resonated with me because y'all know I'm not a fan of war. I just don't think that it accomplishes anything. I don't think that war accomplishes anything. And to me, it's given up like Cenk said, it's a surrender on the battlefield of ideas. Like, we should be able to create solutions without wars. When you look across the board, when you look at what's happening, and we kind of touched on this last week with the Luigi Mangione situation, and we talked about Nat Turner, who was a slave that was revolting and was killing not only the slaveholders, but was killing the entire families, was trying to kill every white person in the village, that was a part of that slave system. And a lot of people on this Luigi situation, I think it's come up where you talk about senseless murders. Senseless. Well, what is a make sense murder? Like, what's a sensible murder? If Luigi Mangione's situation was a senseless murder, or if black on black crime in the Bronx or Chicago, those are senseless murders, what's a sensible murder? Was it sensible terrorism and murders when Christopher Columbus came? Was it like, what makes something sensible? Is it only sensible when it benefits a lot of my people and maybe only hurts a few of yours? What makes something sensible? Is it sensible when I'm fighting for land that I want and that I believe that I'm entitled to compared to your people having it? Does that make it sensible? What makes it okay for somebody to be killed and for violence to be brought as a solution, as an option to solve whatever problem is at the forefront? That would be my question to everybody. Because when we look around at like what makes Luigi Mangioni's situation any different than what's going on in Israel, Palestine, with one side killing the other, with Russia, Ukraine, with one side killing the other? What makes these situations? Now, I know that there's rules with war, right? So there's rules with war. So I'm not saying that they're the same thing, but what I'm saying is what makes one justified. And Uncle Brother wrote, TYT is trash, straight gifters. Chunk Yogurt will say what he needs to say to try to stay relevant. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. And that's why I said I'm not typically a fan of Shank, but when he said this, it may be because I'm not a fan of his, it stood out even more. But to me, it is a surrender on the battlefield of ideas. It is a surrender. War is probably the thing that shows us, like, that's the most animalistic, furthest thing away from being godly. Like, if you had a spectrum where it's like, okay, godliness over here, and then just brute animalistic. I don't even know if animalistic would be at the opposite end of the spectrum. But when you think about those two things, where would war be on that spectrum? And I know a lot of people think that war is okay. I know we celebrate a lot of our veterans. I understand completely. But if we're solving problems with wars, where does it ultimately lead? That would be my question. That would be my question. So that's just what I wanted to sit with y'all. You know, you guys, you take what you want from it. But it's almost like you think about Batman, right? Batman went from being the hero to the villain. What changed? What changed? Who the people that celebrated him? You know, what their perspective on different situations were? Did Batman change? Did what he was fighting for? Did his purpose change? No. But his perception changed. So when I think about war across the board in all these different areas, I don't know why it's so acceptable by groups of people that claim to be religious. We all want to be as godly as possible, right? But we just accept war. And it just doesn't make sense to me. I think it's always going to lead to destruction. I don't see it as a practical solution to anything, really. I really don't. But that's just my take on that. Just wanted to share that with y'all. And we're actually going to have a couple different clips from this same video that I'll highlight, because if you see the lady in the red, she's one of the ladies that was getting attacked as one of the Democrats that came out. She's raised a lot of money for the Democratic Party, and it was some interesting things going on with her because she was one that was calling out a lot of the BS in the Democratic Party. So we'll tap back in with this interview later on, but definitely wanted to open the floor to that question. Now, Uncle Brother wrote, to your point, is the death resulting from mass denial of sick care claims justified? Is the death resulting from mass denial of sick care claims justified? All right. So my opinion is that the death was terrible. My opinion is that the death was terrible. And I know it's cutting in and out. My apologies. My opinion is that the murder was wrong. The murder was wrong. That's my opinion. Now, because, and my opinion is that because that is never going to be an option. Like, once I okay that option, once I say that, okay, this death is justified, then it opens the floodgates and it's a slippery slope for everybody else now justifying murder for whatever their cause is. You get what I'm saying? So I can never justify a murder. And I used to see this thing totally differently. I used to see it totally differently. I used to think that, I'll give you an example. I remember a conversation that we were having, a bunch of my buddies and I, we went to the Poconos, and we were talking about a situation where if somebody did something, let's say if somebody sexually assaulted your parent, your mother, or your daughter, or your son, I would say that it's justified. Like a lot of people would say that it's justified for whoever committed those acts to be killed, period. Right? To be, and I wouldn't necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily say that that's wrong. You know what I mean? You do certain crimes, you have to pay the consequences. You do certain things, so there are consequences for every action. However, it just becomes a slippery slope where who gets to establish what justice is? And that's where justification comes from, right? Justice for a particular crime. So who gets to establish that level of justice? Who gets to say, well, this person should die based on their actions led to a lot of other people's lives being harmed? And I don't know if I'm getting soft. I really don't know if I'm getting soft and having this mindset. But for me, logically, I just don't see where violence and war and justifying certain actions, justifying certain people being killed, I just don't see what the end result, a positive end result. And maybe, I guess this would be the question. What is our goal? So if our goal is to, I think this is the question, Uncle Brother, and you tell me if I'm missing or not, and you guys as well tell me. What is the goal? Is the goal for us to live in peace and harmony? Because if the goal is for us to live in peace and harmony, in my opinion, once this murder is justified, then it's going to open up the floodgates for other violence to be justified. But maybe our goal is to not live in peace and harmony. Maybe that's not the goal. Maybe the goal is for us to live in a just society where forget peace and harmony being the goal. The goal is to live in a society where if you commit certain problems, you're held accountable for them and you're going to have certain punishments for them. That's fine. I guess where it would then go to, the question is, who establishes those rules? So when you have a government that's establishing the rules of what's right, what's wrong, what's justified, what's not justified, what's a crime, what's not a crime, what's self-defense, what's not, what's cold-blooded murder. When you have a government that's deciding the rules on this, unless you align and agree with all the rules, it's still going to be certain gray areas there. You know, is it okay to go against the law to justify this killing? Or is it okay to not go against it? I really don't know. It really, to me, depends on what is the goal for our society. So let me, hold on. Let me, so Ant wrote, I think both things can be true. And so Ant, I don't want to fill in the blanks as far as what you're thinking. Tell me which two things you're saying can be true. Tell me which two things you're saying can be true. Mamalay wrote, as unfortunate as it was, it's yet another wake-up call. There's something deeper with that situation that hasn't come out yet. I do think that it's a wake-up call. It's people scream for help in different ways. People scream for help in different ways. And I do blame, and this is something where I think I differ from, I had one of my buddies, he's a doctor. He reached out to me about this situation, and he was saying that people will justify murder, or people will justify certain killings. He said it's amazing how certain people will justify certain killings. And I was thinking about the entire situation, and I do think that it's a wake-up call. And I also think that there's a responsibility. See, I think there's a responsibility on the people that are running these big pharma corporations, the people that have these insurance companies. I think there's a responsibility. And in this conversation that I was having with the doctor of mine, he said, I wonder how many people read their policies. And when he wrote that, my takeaway, I'm just telling y'all my takeaway. I'm not saying that this is what he was implying, but my takeaway was that, oh, people aren't reading their policies, So it's your responsibility to read your policy. It's your responsibility to be aware of what you may have to pay for, what may not be covered, what may be covered. It's your responsibility to know all these things. My approach is a little bit different because I think that if you're at the top of an industry, if you're at the top of the industry and you're in the insurance industry and you're making a lot of money, I think that the godly approach is to look out for people, even if it's a responsibility of theirs and they're not carrying out that responsibility. They're not doing their due diligence. And maybe that sounds like a more of a liberal approach to stuff. Maybe that sounds like more of a democratic approach. I could sit here and say, like, nah, those people signed that contract. They signed, just like I say, I have the same energy when it comes to college student loan forgiveness, right? I say, no, the kids and their families, they sign those loans, they have to pay those back. So should I have the same energy when it comes to the insurance companies and say, yo, people signed those loans or people signed up for that insurance company, they okayed and agreed to those that coverage, that's on them. If they didn't read the fine print, that's on them. I could sit here and say that. Now, the reason why I differentiate the situations is because one is a financial commitment, the other is your livelihood. So maybe that's just, I shouldn't do what I'm doing, but I separate the two. So when it comes to somebody's livelihood, if I'm the head of a healthcare insurance company, then I am going to the godly approach. What is the godly approach? That's what that's like the new standard, maybe that I'm holding my perspective to. What's the godly approach to this? The godly approach would be like, okay, I'm in the head of this industry. I'm making a whole lot of money in healthcare that I already know is a crooked industry. I'm making a whole lot of money. I'm going to take responsibility, even though these people that are signing up for me, they don't know what's in this packet that they're signing. They don't know what coverage they really have. They don't know what they're going to need 40 years from now. I know because I study the industry. I know because I'm actually the head of the insurance company. I know what these people are going to need. I know what's going to end up being denied. So how can I figure out a way to provide these people as much coverage as possible, but still making obviously a living for myself, but not needing to have that same profit margin to where I'm getting filthy rich and all of these people are getting filthy rich based on me having to deny claims and denying those claims, but we agreed on them. So instead of me standing on this platform and saying, you know what, those people agreed to it, it is what it is, the godly approach would be to help your peers, right? To help the people that you're living in society with, to help our neighbors. We know that they're signing stuff. And I guess you could use the same approach if you go to a dealership. If you go to a dealership and buy a car and that car has Carfax, and the Carfax said that there was something wrong with that engine. There's something wrong with the engine, or there's something wrong, or there was let's say there was water damage, and the car salesman, they know that water damage can cause these different types of issues. They know that it could potentially ruin this car, right? Okay. Should the salesperson, if the person buying the car is not doing their due diligence, does not look at the Carfax, should the salesperson feel obligated to tell that person that's buying the car? They see that hardworking family coming in trying to get their kid a new car. Should the salesperson say, hey, this car has had some water damage. I don't know if it's going to be the best fit. Should they have any of those? Should they? Now, maybe a lot of us will say, you know what? Nah, they could do their due diligence. They can look into the Carfax. If they bring it up, then we'll decrease the price. But if they don't bring it up, nah, we're going to hit them in the head with the same price as if there was no water damage to that car. What's the godly approach? I don't know. Like, I'll be totally honest. Like I said, maybe I'm getting softer as I see the world, softer as I go along in my spiritual journey. But I do not want to sell something to somebody, whether they know it or not, whether I gave them all the information and they did their due diligence or not. I do not want to sell something to somebody that I think is going to be detrimental to them and is going to put them in maybe a bad spot. that I know that they don't know what they're buying. So that's what it comes down to for me when it comes to the insurance companies. If I have a godly approach where my purpose is to make things better, to provide solutions to people, to bring out the best in other people, if I have that approach and that standard to every situation, then I'm going to take responsibility as the United Healthcare CEO and say, nah, I'm not okay with just making millions and my company making billions of dollars. I'm not okay with that. And people being denied healthcare and us having turning down claims and denying a lot of these claims at a much higher rate than the insurance companies. I'm not going to be okay with that. So I'm saying that. So to Mama Lay's point that I kind of went off on a tangent about, it is a wake-up call. And maybe it's a wake-up call that money isn't everything. Maybe it's a wake-up call that we need to approach things from a more godly approach, that we need to be more decent human beings. Maybe it is a wake-up call for that. I hope it is. So I'm not saying that the situation is justified. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it's a terrible thing. Nobody should be gunned down like that. But now that the situation has happened, use it as a wake-up call to identify a problem that we know is there, and also to call out different solutions rather than the solution that Luigi took. So hopefully that makes some sense. Let me catch up with these comments. So Uncle Brother wrote, I'm not necessarily justifying Luigi, but if we're going to examine his actions, let's equally examine the way United was being run. Is that right? Justified? I agree with you. I agree with you. And I know I was a little late responding to that. So you probably wrote that a few minutes ago. Or wow, you wrote that a while ago. All right, so let me keep going. Let me try to catch up. My fault. Let me try to catch up because I went rambling again. So Ant wrote, I think what you're seeing in terms of hero worship is the result of a broken system that can lead to a society that feels eat the rich is necessary. That's the wake-up call, in my opinion. That's interesting, bro. That's interesting. All right, so Uncle Brother wrote, so do we have what's promised? Do we have equal justice under the law? I don't think that there's equal justice under the law. I don't think that there's equal justice under the law. Both things being murder by execution or murder by greed can be true. That's interesting, bro. That's definitely interesting. And Uncle Brother agreed. And so, and when we say that both things being true, murder by execution or murder by greed, okay, yeah, I agree. I just want to make sure that I was processing it. Mama Lay said Luigi did not act alone. That's an interesting perspective. That's an interesting perspective. Ant wrote, people read the policies or they don't. It doesn't mean the system is not the root of the problem. And that's what I'm saying. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Ant. I think that the people that are above and running the system, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility, or how about this? If you're running a United Healthcare and you do not feel that you have the responsibility, regardless of whether or not people read the policies, you do not have a responsibility to help aid to this problem and to help address the root of the problem, then terrible things are going to happen, whether they're justified or not. And for me, I don't want people to be arguing over, you know, I'm the United Healthcare CEO. I don't want people arguing over whether or not my murder was justified. I want to be living. like I don't want people arguing over whether my murder was justified or not. I actually just want to be living. I want to be contributing something positive to society. So if you are in a system and a part of a system that you know is very detrimental to people, and this is what I was talking about the other day, when you work as in insurance and healthcare, you know that you're dealing with the livelihood of people. The decisions that you're making can be life or death for families and individuals. So therefore, understanding the industry that you're in, which is why you make a whole lot of money, because obviously there's a lot of fear there with insurance. You know, when people are going to have to pay for things like that have the most extreme results. So if it's a life or death situation, people are going to pay. That's why insurance costs so much, right? So think about the amount of money that you pay in insurance over a lifetime. It's a lot of money. So if I'm running certain things in this type of industry, for me personally, I'd be a fool if I'm not going to take responsibility for the problems in this industry if I'm one of the only people that can solve a lot of these problems and can help fix the system. I'm not looking at it like that. I wouldn't even feel comfortable walking around. This is what I said from the beginning. If I was the United Healthcare CEO, I wouldn't even feel comfortable walking around without security, because I know how dirty the healthcare industry is, how dirty the insurance industry is, and how you're affecting people's lives. And whether or not you feel that it's the right thing or not, there's a lot of people with a perspective that when you deny their claim, they're associating you with everything else that comes as a result of them not being able to get that treatment and that care. So whether they die, now they've got their family associating United Healthcare with they're the reason. Those greedy people at the top, they're the reason why my grandmother died. I don't want that on my conscience. I do not want to. I don't want it. So, and shout out to Anthony's in the building. Yeah. Oh, and do me a favor, please make sure that y'all like. Make sure that y'all like. Pulling each other along, wrote, helping others is always the best way to go. That's my approach. And like I said, it may be a soft approach, and I acknowledge that. But I really, from a logical standpoint, I just don't see other options. Aren't we just supposed to wake up and do good? Aren't we supposed to open the door for people when they're coming in? Or like, isn't that, if we all behave in that type of way, what's going to be the energy that's reciprocated? And maybe the best point that I can use to illustrate this, or I'm kind of, I don't know, y'all let me know if I'm connecting dots that aren't there. But when I walked into the Duane Reade the other day, or Walgreens in the city, is this considered the Upper East Side? So,
Midtown, Upper.
All right, so we're in Midtown, Upper East Side. Damn, this internet service. My apologies. But we're in Midtown Manhattan, almost near the Upper East Side. Every single thing in the Walgreens, besides like the candy when you're getting ready to walk to pay at the end of the aisle, even the water was locked up. I had to ask somebody that worked at the store. I had to ask them, oh my God, this thing is, yeah, I'm on the hotspot. But I had to ask the person that worked at the store to get me trail mix. I had to ask them, hold on. I got it over there. I was going to show y'all the trail mix. I don't even show. I had to ask them to give me water. Yeah. I had to ask that. Why am I going into Walgreens and having to ask them to open up a container so I can get that's locked? Why do I have to do that? At first, it started at the CVS, and I noticed they were doing it like deodorant and certain stuff. But apparently, Target is like that. I don't really go into this to Target like that, so I didn't know. But the point that I'm making is when we create these environments, like when you walk into Walgreens and everything is locked up, it's almost like creating an environment that is going to, it creates an energy of people that like, oh yeah, these animals, they're stealing everything. And then it creates an unsafe, now I'm thinking like, oh, I'm in an unsafe area. Now it's like, it's just one leading to the other. I'm like, yo, this is not the environment that I want to be around. This is not the environment that would encourage a positive mindset. This is not an environment that makes you want to help a nice older lady get across the street. Like, these are not the world that we're living in my opinion. It's like, it's not necessarily right and wrong. To me, it always goes back to that golden rule of treating others the way that I want to be treated. So when it goes back to the golden rule of treating others the way that I want to be treated, it's the same example of the car salesman. It's the same example of the United Healthcare CEO. I would want somebody in a lot of these powerful positions, if you have the ability to change and impact the system in a positive way, I would want you to do that, because that's treating others the way that I would want to be treated. I want to look out for people because I want them to look out for me. Right? Because I know that that's the only approach to solving any of these issues. So if I want people to if I want to be treated the way that that's my mindset. That's my mindset. So that's how I approach everything. But let me make sure that I'm catching up with these comments. My apologies. Helping those who have a challenge, helping themselves will bless you too. I agree. Antonice wrote integrity. Integrity, that's what we stand on. That's what we stand on. So Ant wrote, is there a godly approach from the standpoint of a company known for capitalizing on keeping dependent on poor health and death of others? Yes, the godly approach is to fix it. That's my point. And the godly approach is to fixing it. Keeping people dependent on it. All right, so I know I'm a little late. Let me try to catch up with these comments to get. I'm like 10 minutes behind. That's why I'm not a salesperson, because I can't crap people. It's tough. I'm not going to do anybody like that. That part I couldn't sleep at night knowing I did. I agree with you. Uncle Brother wrote, it shouldn't have to be necessary for us to read the fine print in order to keep from getting screwed by a mutually beneficial agreement in the first place. I agree. I agree. That's what I'm saying. That's my whole thing. We shouldn't have to read the fine print on a lot of stuff, because if there's fine print, that means by like definition, fine print is stuff that they're trying to hide from you. Why should the fine print be the ingredients, these terrible ingredients that they're putting in food? Think about all the stuff that's fine print. When they talk about this law that just passed, or it's always the fine print. Well, what's the fine print included in it? It's not what they're presenting to us. It's always the fine print. I agree with you. It shouldn't have to wait. Hold on. It shouldn't have to be necessary for us to read the fine print. Bro, I'm with you. I'm with you. The root is always the same. Greed. The system is indeed the root of all problems. Anthony, this is why it's like, this is why when people like Piers Morgan and Ben Shapiro, they put out different videos and their takes are, they can't understand how people are not, that don't have empathy for the CEO being killed. This is why. This is why, because of the greed, because of the system, because we understand that living in a capitalist society, there's going to be people at the top, people at the bottom, right? People all throughout that spectrum. It just is what it is. When the people at the top, when they compromise maybe their morals and their values, and what Anthony said earlier, when you compromise your integrity, there's going to be a certain amount of anger that comes from people that are at the bottom that you're taking advantage of, whether you include it in the fine print or not. So now you either have the ability to help those people, to have more of a godly standard with those people, or you could just say, you know what, I don't care. I'm taking advantage of them. And if you have that mindset, then what comes from it is what comes after that is what it is. It is what it is. It doesn't matter whether it's justified. It doesn't matter whether people say it's right or wrong. Either way, people are going to be upset. And then when a situation happens with Luigi, now we're arguing about whether or not it's justified. How about we just prevent the situation from happening again, because we don't have greedy individuals, greedy companies that are in these dirty industries that are taking advantage of people, whether it's big pharma, whether it's the healthcare system, across the board, or the insurance industry. So Queez wrote, we are all selfish, want to get over on the next man. That's a fact. That's a fact. Where you at? I'm in the city. It's rough out here. Ant wrote, the state of retail, indoor and loss prevention in New York City is the perfect example, precursor to a broken system. Queez wrote, I'd be mad as hell having to call and wait for someone to give me eye drops. I'm with all of y'all. Yes, the golden rule, but not everyone was taught that rule. I agree. The amount of theft and looting in New York City these days has led to what you saw with securing the items in Walgreens. It's the worst I've ever seen. And this is the thing, Ant, when it comes to this. When I walk in Walgreens, we act as if we don't know where a lot of this stuff came from. When 2020 was here with all these riots, when we're excusing people and we were supposed to stay in the house because there was a sickness, there was a disease going around, right? There was a virus going around. But then as soon as the George Floyd thing happened, what did all the Democrats and liberals say? Oh, no, go out and protest. It's all good. Go out and protest. Go loot, go riot. Matter of fact, let's defund the police. So you had all these people, and not only are we going to defund the police, we're going to decrease the punishment from people going in these stores and stealing. We're going to decrease the punishment. My dad said the other day when we were walking in Bloomingdale's, he's like, yo, I've never seen this amount of security here. Like, I grew up going to this Bloomingdale's in Manhattan. It's like you see like the amount of security in all these different places. it may be because of the holidays, but even in general, I think he was saying compared to previous holidays. I may be wrong, but and the situation I remember vividly. My parents, when we were walking in DC, in their like fashion district where they have all the fancy stores. We're walking in the store. We saw a car literally pull up in a spot, leave the car on, back the car in all the way to the back of the parking spot, so therefore they can get out early. They hopped out the car in mask and we're walking towards the store, and we're seeing this all happen. And it's like, why? Because they decriminalized a lot of this stuff. So my point being is that you have the Democrats, you have the liberals, you have these progressives that they think, or we think they use it to say, oh, we shouldn't be charging crimes for this. We shouldn't be, we should be a little bit more lenient. We should be defunding the police. We should be doing all this stuff. And it all backfired on us. And now we're in a situation now where we got everything locked up at Walgreens, where you can't even buy water at the store without asking an associate to come and open up the door. Yes, and so true. What's your point?
My thing is, even in those cases when things are locked up, right? The person can still, you can give it to them, hand it to them, and they can still run out the store.
So Maya was saying that even in situations like that, somebody could still steal. Well, it's preventing people from stealing. People are not gonna, like, she's saying like, yo, even if you ask the associate to grab something, you could still just run out the store. I think from a conscious standpoint, from a mental standpoint, just having that thing locked up, it's going to deter a lot of people from stealing. So I do think that. Mama Lay wrote, yeah, he gets to make $10 million a year while we pay these outrageous health insurance premiums. And let me be clear. So this is where, for me, I have to have a certain amount of balance where I don't mind somebody making tens of millions of dollars a year. I don't make it. I don't mind it. And if I have a product that I make, and I want to sell it for whatever price that I want to sell it at, and people are buying it for that price, I can do that. So that's one side of it. But the other side is, how is what I'm doing, this product that I'm selling, how is it impacting the livelihood of everybody else? I cannot feel right making a whole bunch of money while taking advantage and hurting a group of people. That to me is that's bad energy, bad karma. It's setting up a Luigi Mangione situation. And rich people will never want to accept any accountability in that. Wealthy people, the elites, across the board in a lot of these dirty industries, we got to understand, in these industries, they don't just get to become the CEO of the United Healthcare. They've worked in these industries. So it's just like with politics, where you see a lot of politicians where they start out saying all the right things, like, oh, I'm going to be for the people. I'm just going to do good. I don't care about taking money. I don't care about what money I can make. I'm going to do the right thing. But you see, as they go along, they start to compromise, right? This is the same type of situation with a lot of these folk. They compromise their entire way with greed and everything else that you guys have mentioned. And this is why we get in the situations that we get to, because you have a CEO that starts off in United Healthcare, knows that they're in or maybe when you start off, you don't know. I've kind of told y'all a little bit about my journey with healthcare. I didn't know that healthcare was such a dirty industry. I had no idea that healthcare was such a dirty industry. I had no idea how much of a dirty industry Big Pharma was and how this stuff is connected. I had no idea how much of a dirty industry the Food and Drug Administration is. So we should hold those people accountable. They should be held to a higher standard. And they're never going to take accountability and say like, oh yeah, it's on me to kind of fix it. They're just going to take the greed. So when you take the greed, you can't be surprised. You can say that it's wrong all you want, the Luigi Mangione situation, but you can't be surprised when a situation like that happens. You can't be. At least I'm not. Uncle Brother wrote, yes, Leslie, greed is at the root of capitalism. Capitalism is the American way. Can capitalism be reformed? That's an excellent question. evolve into a more mutually beneficial system. That's Uncle Brother. That's a great point, because I was sitting here thinking about this yesterday, about the capitalist system. And I think my opinion evolves every day on capitalism. What is ideal? Like I was thinking about like Donald Trump's slogan, and I was thinking about a whole bunch of stuff that I was connecting to it, where we even touched on the last show when we were talking about desegregation, right? We were talking about before desegregation happened, we had our own schools. We had our own doctor's offices. We had our own grocery stores. And I'm talking about Black communities, right? Before desegregation, I'm talking specifically with the Black community. We had our own everything. Everything that makes up a town, we had our own economy. That's what it comes down to, that word economy. When you have your own businesses, then you develop your own economy. So we had our own economy, right? So when I think about Donald Trump's slogan, "Make America Great Again," what would make America great again? Or what would make America great? What is your vision for America being great? Is it everybody being a millionaire? Everybody living in nice homes? Everybody driving a nice car? Is that making America great? Is it a capitalist society where you eat what you kill, you eat what you grow, and it just is what it is? There's people at the top, there's people at the bottom, and you figure out, we're going to create as much of an opportunity to people can do whatever they want, climb in whatever ways that they want to climb in. Because when you think about America, America probably is one of those countries where, of course, we can complain about a bunch of stuff, but when it comes to the ability to create different ways and to start from nothing, or to start from the lower class, and you have the opportunity to make a whole lot of money, America is that country. Maya, you got to either speak up or you're commenting in the background. Like, what do you want me to do with that? You got to speak up so they can hear you, or I don't know, or leave a comment. But like when it comes to, damn, I lost my train of thought. What was I on? Maybe I was supposed to. Yeah. So the American, or what would make America great? What would be the vision of America being great? Is America being great? Because when you look at desegregation, maybe America is great when people are just competing with each other. There's losers, there's winners. Or is your version of America being great where everybody just gets a participation trophy? We don't have to compete. We got so many resources. Let's just spread them out. Nobody needs to work for anything. Nobody has to earn anything. Just you being born in America, we're just going to make sure that everybody's set up to live a nice life, to have that nice house with the white picket fence. I'm not saying one is right or one is wrong. I'm just saying, based on what we see as great, we're always going to see the world through that perspective. Now, obviously, it's convenient for the elites to see it as great, where it's like, oh, no, it's capitalist. Everybody at the bottom, they got the opportunity to climb, but I'm at the top. So my job is to stay at the top no matter what I need to do, and no matter how much people at the bottom I need to use. What's the best approach? Mama Lay wrote, yes, that's absolutely what we need. So referring to evolving into a more mutually beneficial system. What does it look like? What does it look like? That would be my question. Uncle Brother wrote, liberal Democrats created the crime problem to have a political platform on which to base their campaign. And like you just said, it all backfired. There's another reason. That's another reason Trump looks so good right now. I'm with you 100% on that. I'm with you 100% on that. You know why I'm asking these questions? Because I never want to get into a mindset. This is just me personally. I never want to get into the mindset where I'm complaining more than I'm problem solving. I'm complaining more than I'm problem solving. And the reason why I personally don't want to get into that mindset, not saying that we're doing that. I don't think we do that on this show. But I have to constantly remind myself, is because if I focus more on complaining rather than problem solving, I find that for me, I can get confused on what the overall goal is. And that's kind of how I see the Democrats. They just complain about everything to the point where it's like, wait, we don't even realize what our goal is. We're just complaining about everybody else. we don't even know what problems need to be solved, and therefore we're not even thinking about solutions to actually go about solving those problems. All we're focusing on is complaining about what has happened. So to me, it's like, what would make this society ideal? What would be a great society for y'all? What would make y'all wake up? And maybe you already feel this way, but what would make you wake up and be proud to be an American? What would make the majority of Americans wake up and be proud to be American? Or is that just not an option? Is there just too much diversity in America for that not to be? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. All right, so I agree with you, Leslie. I just wonder if the poison runs too deep, though. Once the greed sets in, can the poison? Once that cancer sets in, all right. So let's dive into. Oh my God, this service. Let's dive into what Uncle Brother just said. I wonder if the poison runs too deep, though. Once the greed sets in, hold on, let me give it a sec. I'm just going to reboot this for a second. Give me 1 second. I'm just waiting for this. Oh, this terrible service is killing me. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. All right, so I rebooted it. Hopefully the service is a little bit better now. All right, let me get back to my. All right, what were we talking about? Let me get back to the comments. Hold on. Give me a second. The chat should load. All right, so let me get back to the chat. Maybe that was a reminder. Stop going off on these damn tangents. I don't know. What was I just speaking on? I forget what I was even talking about. Let me get to this. So liberal Democrats created the problem. I agree. And then Anthony's wrote, me too, bro. I don't know either. Now I do. I agree with you, Leslie. I just wondered. Okay. All right. So this is where we were. I agree if the poison runs too deep, though. Once the greed sets in, can the poison be saved? This is how I look at it. You know how people get sick? And I don't know if it's happened with anybody in your family, but whether it's cancer or whether it's diabetes or whether it's whatever. I'm a big believer in Dr. Sebi. Is that the right way to say it? Now, I know everybody says Sebi. No, it's Dr. Yeah, it's actually Dr. Sebi. Whatever. I'm a big believer in natural ingredients and herbs healing our bodies, us changing our diet with things that come from the ground, incorporating those things into our diet. And I really believe that any illness can be cured. And even if you look at Dr. Sebi, he actually cured a lot of illnesses that people or the big pharma will tell you that's incurable, that we can only give you this medicine to kind of manage this situation where we can't cure it. And he went to the Supreme Court and actually proved that he was able to cure certain things. And when somebody in our family gets hit with cancer or anything, are they willing to go on a green diet, to only juice green juice for the next 30 days, for the next 60 days? Are they willing to take meat out of their diet? Are they willing to take dairy out of their diet? Are they willing to exercise? Are they willing to do everything that it takes to cure this condition? No. The majority of them are not. The majority of their family members won't even make the adjustments to cook different things for their family to give them the best chance to heal this particular illness that they have. So this is how I look at it with what you just wrote, Uncle Brother. Does the poison run too deep? I don't know if it runs too deep, but I know that the poison, my opinion is that it runs deep compared to what people are willing to do to push their greed to the side, to push their personal agendas to the side, to actually solve it. That's what I would say. Who's going to fight this battle? Who's willing to stand up? Who has the power and leverage to address a lot of these different things? So I don't think that the poison runs too deep, but it's just, or the poison runs too deep to where it can't be fixed. I just don't think people are willing to do what it takes to fix a lot of those things. So that was just kind of an analogy that I had. You know, I just see that happening with a lot of different family members where people get cancer, people get these different diseases, but it's like, okay, are you willing to do whatever it takes to cure that? Or are you just going to die a slow death? And I see the majority of us choosing to die that slow death, unfortunately. So Queez wrote, making competitive but fair competition. Capitalism, in my opinion, allows people at the top to control the narrative. The rich are the most powerful. I agree, bro. Ant wrote, I think America being great speaks to a time where certain majorities were at the head of the line and the masses were not aware of the system known as America mass producing workers for things. So let me read that one time. I think America being great speaks to a time where certain majorities were at the head of the line and the masses were not aware of the system known as America mass producing workers for things. So you think it was more just like an idea. It's almost like, well, we're convincing you that this is great. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, like life is great right now, right? You gotta, okay, yeah, life is, I get what you're saying. I think I get what you're saying, Ant. I think I get what you're saying. I agree. They must got an Xfinity. Anthony's funny. I don't know what internet service they have. Now I'm connected just to the personal hotspot. So hopefully that was better. It was working initially, and then I don't know what happened. Uncle Brother wrote, yes, Queez. The rich control the levers, and as soon as the little guy starts gaining a little ground, they pull the levers to shut them down, hinder them from making any progress. Look at Uber. And Uncle Brother, I'm with y'all. And to me, this is what makes Donald Trump so appealing to people, because he is what you would say is the privileged white guy, right? That's what everybody was trying to call him, right? Oh, he inherited all this. He inherited all. Donald Trump, say what you want about him, but people, the actual people, the folk, feel more connected to Donald Trump than any of these other politicians. That's what I really see happening. Donald Trump, I would never call him the little guy, but the little guy, Donald Trump is inspiring the little guy. Donald Trump is relating to the little guy in ways that people did not think that he could. Donald Trump is that guy. Donald Trump's the one speaking to the working class, and maybe it's because I know a lot of us, and not necessarily on here, but think about outside of these conversations. Everybody tries to see things as Republican versus Democrat. Donald Trump, I don't see him as just a Republican. I see Donald Trump as just a guy. He ran with the Republican Party, but he's just Trump. He's him. He doesn't need to do whatever to appease the Republicans. He doesn't need to do whatever to appease the Democrats and the Barack Obamas that are running the party after their presidents and telling people, you know, he does not need to fall in line. He doesn't need to toe the line. He doesn't need to toe the line of corporate greed. He doesn't need to do all these different things. All he needs, he's doing what he feels. He's doing whatever he feels like. And whatever he feels like seems to be aligning very much with the common working class folk all the way up to a lot of the wealthy folks. It seems like he's uniting people in ways that we haven't seen politicians unite in our lifetime, at least. All right, so let's, so Anthony's wrote, they be ready to take the stuff then people suggest. Influence can be bought. Agreed with both of y'all. It doesn't run too deep to be fixed, but people ain't. It doesn't run too deep to be fixed, but people ain't. I agree. Some would argue that Luigi was a stand. Yes. And that Luigi was a stand. Let me make sure that I'm understanding you correctly. Antonice wrote, my boo said, talk that stuff, homie. I appreciate it. Tell him I said it was good, man. Tell him I said I appreciate it. Leslie wrote, the elite are rich by keeping the masses enslaved. We can start with taxes being eliminated. And this is why, you know why? This is why I'm excited about guys like Elon and Vivek running that Doge Commission. I'm excited about that because when you talk about efficiency, anybody that's dealt with the government, we know that the government, and this is what I think a lot of politicians use, the government spends top dollar on everything. It's like a government contract. They're going to pay more. They're going to pay you damn near more than you asking for. Why? Because it's not their money. And they're going to use our tax-paying dollars or the money that they're printing. Either way, it's impacting us. They're going to use our money to leverage power for themselves, because after they strike these deals, like if I work with the government and I work out a deal with with this particular company, this construction company. When I work out that deal with that construction company, I'm paying them in government money, but then right after I'm in my political position, or maybe they'll hire my kid on their board, or they'll hire my son as a consultant. My son could have nothing to do with construction, right? Sounds a little Hunter Biden-ish, right? What does Hunter Biden have to do with whatever, with energy, right? What does Hunter Biden have to do with those things? It doesn't matter. I'm signing the deal with your company, so therefore, but because I'm giving you US dollars, I'm going to leverage that in order to do something beneficial for the pockets of me as well as my family. That's what we see the government doing. So maybe taxes should be eliminated, because what are our taxes going to? And even when you think about, especially state taxes, weren't taxes always meant to be a temporary thing? Like taxes were supposed to be temporary. And I think almost taxes should be associated, and maybe they do this, but I just don't do my due diligence when it comes to like the town meetings and looking up a lot of this stuff. Taxes should be based on, it's almost like every year we should get a report. Let's say our town taxes, our local taxes, if you own a home or state, whatever they are, should get a report and say, hey, we need to do these things. We need to build this bridge. We need to fix this thing. We need to do this. And here's what it's going to cost. This is why y'all are paying taxes. But and now that I'm saying these, I feel like these reports are available to us, but I probably don't look into them. Maybe we need to look into them more. And that's why I'm glad that Vivek and Elon are looking into them more. Because now they're going to see, like, hold on, this project has been on the books. Y'all been just giving away money. What's going on here? I hope that they save us a lot of money in our taxes. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm really hoping for. Yes, they were supposed to be taxes. The elites are rich by keeping the masses enslaved. All right, so yeah. All right, so we're caught up. Yes, Antonis was wrote, yes, they were supposed to be temporary. So yeah, taxes were supposed to be temporary. But now we're just so accustomed to it because and this is the government. The government is not a business, but isn't it supposed to be? Like the government, and what do I mean by this? The government shouldn't just be able to run based on the money that they receive from us in taxes, in my opinion. Like the government shouldn't be, it's almost like a business, and maybe this is a little bit wrong, but this is just what comes to mind. You have certain businesses that are able to run without getting donations, right? They may receive donations and use them for different things, but certain businesses may run without donations, because what happens when you get donations? When you get donations, now you're controlled by whoever gave you that money, right? Because they're giving it to you maybe for something, especially when it comes to politics. So when you have a business that doesn't need donations, they can do whatever they like, right? If the government was operating without needing our taxes, I think that the government should be able to operate without needing our taxes. And the fact that they aren't shows that they just have bad business dealings. And maybe that's why we're in need of a business person like Trump. And I know a lot of y'all still won't give Trump credit for being a good business person. People still won't give him credit for being a good marketer, even though he's done a tremendous job in marketing himself and becoming the president from The Apprentice, right? Like, look at what Trump has done. People still won't give him credit. It's all good. The reason maybe why our government is in such a bad position, where we're in, what, $36 trillion in debt? I don't even know if that's accurate, whatever the number is. The reason why, and Anthony just wrote, America is a business. America is a bad business. America is the WNBA. That's what America is. We're seeing a bad business. And that's why, just like the WNBA needs to be subsidized by the NBA, our government system is being subsidized by our tax dollars, when it should be able to just run efficiently, independently. Why do we have a government that is not running independently? Why are we so much in debt that we have to borrow money from China, borrow money from other places in order to provide support for other countries? The United States is the WNBA, a terribly ran business for a very long time that, because you're being subsidized by the NBA or by tax dollars by the US citizens, it appears to be stronger than it is, and the power really is in the people that continue to pay taxes. That's where the power is. Just like the WNBA's, their only leverage comes from the NBA subsidizing them, so therefore they can have a league. So this is what these are kind of the things that are on that I'm thinking about, and maybe this is the reason why Donald Trump is in the position that he's in. So Antonice wrote, "Weak, all right. Now you know the women gonna come for you. Slow down, bro. We dying laughing over here. Hold on. What did I say? What did I say about the women coming? Oh, the WNBA. Oh, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. It's just numbers, right? It's just numbers. So it's not a sensitive, insensitive thing. Like, it's just numbers. The WNBA, America's the WNBA. America's the WNBA. We act as if we're this amazing organization that's running on our own, that is the greatest thing since sliced bread. We act like all this stuff, but in all actuality, we're a failed business. We're a failed business. Shout out to the WNBA. Shout out to Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, the Donald Trump. Caitlin Clark, the Donald Trump. All right, so let's hold on. We got a couple different videos. All right, so now I want to show y'all a couple different videos. All right, so this one, so the Wall Street Journal. Let's get on Joe Biden a little bit. So the Wall Street Journal, they did. Wait, do I want to go Piers Morgan? Hold on. All right, so yeah, so we got a couple different videos. We got a sequence. So it's gonna start with Joe Biden. We're gonna go to Kamala Harris, and then we're gonna get back to that lady that I pointed out in Piers Morgan Uncensored, the lady that I said was in the red outfit, the Asian lady. So let's start off with Joe Biden. Let me see if I can find this video. Give me a second. Where you at, Joe? Where you at, Uncle Joe? All right, hold on. All right, here we go. Hold on. Let me get this shared for y'all.
Our country. That's the question. Who is running our country? That's the question everyone is asking after a bombshell report from the Wall Street Journal blew the lid off Joe Biden's declining mental state and how the White House has been covering it up right from the very start. According to the Journal, signs that the commander-in-chief was diminished stretched all the way back to, quote, the first few months of his presidency, with aides adjusting his schedule, noticing Joe becoming tired if they went long, and he started making mistakes. So they kept meetings short and started controlling who he spoke with. And like a good little lapdog, the media aided and abetted the cover-up. Remember this lunacy?
F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
And how many times have we heard this? We got a guy in Joe Biden, and this is the thing that people, I think I don't know why it's not a big issue, but who really is running the country? Anybody? I think it's really to the point where even Democrats acknowledge that Joe Biden does not have it mentally to be running the country. So who really is running the country? Why is this not a pressing issue? And if this is something that they noticed earlier in his candidate, earlier as a president, and the fact that they lied to us this entire time, all of these individuals, this is why Trump is so attractive. And this is what Uncle Brother said earlier. Democrats missed. They overplayed their hand. And all it did was make us look at Trump, where it's like, damn, now y'all got Trump looking even better than what he could have marketed himself, just because everything that y'all did backfired. And I want to make sure that so Uncle Brother wrote a comment earlier that I missed, that I thought was perfect. Our taxes go to funding corruption and crime. That's it. And I think, hold on, and I think, and I think you're agreeing with what Mama Lay said, which the elites keep getting rich by keeping the masses enslaved with the taxes. Our taxes, let's be very clear, they go to government corruption and crime. Our taxes are what allow Joe Biden to make deals for his son, Hunter Biden, that's going to get Hunter Biden paid all this money by leveraging the power of our tax dollars. That's what we've been talking about the entire time. I agree. I agree. Hold on. And there was another comment that I missed with Uncle Brother. So Uncle Brother wrote, I agree. Once again, we need to take money out of our political process. This is why money is the reason why this guy that we're looking at on the screen is saying all these things about Joe Biden that are so Joe Biden, he's as sharp as a tack. He's as sharp as he's ever been. Screw you if you don't believe, F you, whatever he said, if you don't believe it. But then months later, when Trump wins, him and his wife are running down to kiss the ring with Donald Trump. Everything is done by money. Like, this is how these people are controlled. Politicians should not be able to enrich themselves while holding a political office or position within the government. It's certain things, when we go back to that golden rule, the other golden rule of do what makes sense. How does it make sense for politicians to use our money to enrich themselves while they're in office? Isn't politics supposed to be about volunteering your efforts for the greater good of the country? It should almost all be voluntary positions. These people, when you choose to go into politics in order to enrich yourself, in order to have a job, to make money, to use it as a business, it's always going to be corrupt. Because the priority, when your priority, just like any business, if your priority is to sell by any means necessary, that's going to lead you down a different path than if your priority is to, hey, we just want to help as many people as possible. Going back to the car salesman example. If my mindset, let's look at the different mindsets for car salesmen. If my mindset is to sell as many cars as possible, I don't care about anything else. That's what's at the top. Everything else falls behind that. That's a totally different mindset than, hey, I want to help people as much as possible. I want to get people in cars that are good for them, to where they're not overpaying and that they're able to enhance their lives with this purchase that makes sense. Those are two totally different approaches. So I agree with Uncle Brother when you say, as soon as you introduce money to the political process, it automatically corrupts it. It's automatically corrupted because your priorities, your goals, your aims are the same, are different. You can say whatever it is that you want. And a lot of times that's what makes it even more dangerous, because you know what should be said, or you know what should be done. You understand all the problems, because when you originally got into office, it may have been for the right reasons, right? Or why you wanted to join politics. And maybe not even that. Maybe I'm giving too much credit there. But as soon as you introduce money, I agree, it becomes corrupt. 100%. Hold on. Anthony said, like the live, it's free. Make sure that y'all like. Mama Lay wrote, they've been playing us for eons. It's a fact. Look at Queen. Queen said, look at his face. Shy in the building. What's good, Shy? Mama Lay wrote, let's be real. They tax us on everything all day, every day, and then a huge income tax at the end of the year. It's BS. It is. It's all. We don't even realize, like, why are we paying taxes? Why are we paying taxes? What is it going towards? Is it going towards what is it going towards? And then it's to the point where we don't even have a voice in the things that our country is giving money to. We don't even have a voice in those topics. We don't have a voice in, we don't want all of our money going overseas to fund all these different wars. Like, we actually just want to keep our money. Is that okay? Is that okay? Like, or we're not obligated, right, to go spend more money than all these other countries, whether it's NATO. Like, one of the big things that Trump brings up, he's like, why is America carrying the biggest bag when it comes to NATO? I think he was referring to, when Trump was saying it, correct me if I'm wrong, Trump was calling out, was it the UK? And he was saying, like, why is the US paying more than the UK to NATO and supporting the efforts of Ukraine more than the US, when we have a ocean separating us from Russia? They don't. So it's like, why are we so obligated? Why are we jumping out the window in all these different areas to fund certain things? Why are we so willing to spend money? And in my experience thus far in life, I don't know about y'all, but when people are so willing to spend money, it's usually because they want something in return. So I don't know. And when it comes to our politicians, they're willing to spend our money because they're looking for something in return, like a kickback. We know how this goes. Uncle Brother wrote, they've been pumping old Uncle Bernie with adrenaline and B12 shots to keep him alive. His carcass is wearing out and he can't hold the charge anymore. Hey, he definitely Weekend at Bernie was moving better than our buddy Biden, it seems like. But let's keep going with this video. Look at it. Look at his face. You queasy, right?
Not a close second.
I'm not even going to ask a question on that. It's so absurd. Jesse, they say that the 50 sources say they noticed in the first few months that he couldn't handle things. But do you remember they're using COVID as an excuse for him not to campaign, not to get out there and to have the basement campaign where, remember, cars, they would beep if they supported Joe Biden? There were 8 of them.
Yeah, so they kept the COVID structure throughout the rest of the
So we don't need to listen to you know Fox is going to roast them. But I'd rather us watch the video earlier that I was referring to where you have Democrats calling it out. That's what I think should happen. So it's Lindy Lee. So it's Lindy Lee. I want y'all to hear this. So this is a lady that she's going to kind of explain her background, I believe, in this video, but has raised a lot of money for the Democrats. And you would think that her word should mean something, right? You would think that they should take into account the things that she's saying, especially considering that she raised a whole lot of money for them. Let's see if that's the case. All right, so let me make sure y'all are seeing this. All right, listen to this.
Said that there were boycotts have for me 2020, and I just want California in 2026 and perhaps even running for president in 2020. And I just want to echo what a lot of you guys already said. This past week has been harrowing for me. This Saturday, I went on Fox and Friends and I said that Democrats have a stench of loser hanging over them.
Yeah.
As soon as I said that, there were boycott campaigns against me, unblock, unfollow campaigns. I lost 40,000 followers.
Really?
In 4 days. People have called me the W word. I don't know what we're allowed to say, but you can fill in the blank.
We're uncensored. No, say it. Say it. Say what the word was.
Am I allowed to?
Yeah.
Well, they called me a whore. They called me the C word. They asked for me to be deported. And you can just search for my name in those terms on X and you'll see a bunch of them. So, all these so-called Democrats, the party of inclusion, the party of diversity, masks off. And it's even worse because they pretend to occupy the moral high ground. At least with Republicans, they are who they are. But with Democrats, they pretend to be, so loving and caring and embracing of diversity. But all of a sudden, when I dare to utter any criticisms of the goddess, Kamala Harris, I get ostracized. Me, after having raised tens of millions of dollars for the party. And I'm being called a grifter when all along, all these years, I've said on TV, I've said to the press, I'm a conservative Democrat. This is not.
And let me, since we're talking about the things that she said, let me actually show the video that she's referring to where she was calling out Kamala Harris, because this seems to be, like I said, this and Uncle Brother, don't be mad at me. It's a TYT video. I get it. Trust me. I get it. But this is what she's being slammed for, because she called out certain stuff that to me is obvious when it comes to Kamala Harris. Obvious. And after this, we'll actually play the Kamala Harris video because I think it's worth playing just so we can just see how much they are disconnected and just apart from reality. But let's is the screen up? All right, let me play this for y'all, get y'all thoughts.
Officials said to be open to Kamala Harris running again in 4 years. Politico asking the question, are Democrats coconut pilled? Where are you on this future?
Well, that was Fox News anchor Bill Hemmer throwing to Linda.
Every single swing, decisive.
There you go.
This is not what America wants. November 5th was a decisive defeat for the Democratic Party. She lost every single swing state. It wasn't a squeaker like it was in 2016. This was a resounding defeat. And right now, Kamala Harris is indulging in delusions of running for governor of California, possibly in 2026, or even president again in 2028. America has said this is not what we don't want to be coconut pilled. We do not want Kamala Harris. We don't want failed border policies. And I feel like I'm liberated and I can finally tell the truth that the Democrats completely failed on the border. Title 42 was a tremendous mistake, and no one is willing to say that. You shouldn't have to be. You shouldn't be called bigoted or racist because you want strong borders for the United States. And you should be able to say that the economy was ailing under the Biden-Harris administration, that price hikes did indeed happen, but they denied that for the first 3 years of the administration. And when they finally did something, it was too late.
Now, look, Lindy Lee.
All right, so we don't need to go too much more into that. We don't need to hear the response, and I'm gonna catch up with y'all comments. And Uncle Brother, now I knew when I read it, I was thinking you talking about Bernie, but I knew you talking about Biden. This is what's happening, and and I have to ask myself, because Queez Democrats are soft. Democrats are soft, and I'm gonna tell you why the Democrats are soft. And this goes back to the conversation where we said weak and soft. We were differentiating. Like, soft is when you have the ability to do something, in my opinion, but you choose to not do it. Weak is just you don't have the power to do it. So two different things. The Democrats are soft. And in all actuality, we can celebrate her for going on and saying these things. But to be fair, shouldn't she have said these things beforehand? Shouldn't she have acknowledged these things before raising all this money, or maybe somewhere during the process? Like, it's not as if she just now figured out this stuff. And maybe, and I can't, and maybe I should be giving her a little bit more grace, because people evolve at different points. But people that are in politics, it's different for us. We're not in politics. We have jobs that we worry about. But the people in politics, it's very hard for me to act as if they don't know what's going on. So to me, she knew what was going on. Now she's experiencing backlash because she's calling it out. And I'm with it. I'm happy that she's calling it out. But I also recognize the fact where it's like, yeah, you're getting a lot of backlash from people that you were telling that Donald Trump is, when you tell a group of people that Donald Trump is Hitler, when you tell a group of people that Donald Trump's a fascist, that Donald, hold on. All right. I had to reset it again. I reset it again. So hopefully y'all can hear me. But when you tell all these people and you raise money off of telling people that Donald Trump is the most evil person in the world, and then you come out afterwards and saying all this stuff about Kamala Harris, well, why didn't you say these things before? So that way, maybe we could have had a primary instead of just gifting Kamala Harris the nomination. Why didn't you say these things before? Why weren't they relevant? And think about it like this. What if Kamala Harris won? This lady who just said all these things negative about Kamala Harris, they're true now, I assume, in her eyes. They were also true 2 months ago, 3 months ago. What if Kamala Harris won? Would they still be saying these things? And what would the status of our country be? That's what I'm asking. So shout out to big bro Brandon in the building. Some of them will begin to pretend to agree with Trump in order to show some sense of balance. It's all lies. Their ways are twisted and evil. Their words are meaningless. Some will forget the past. I didn't even read your comment. I hadn't even read your comment, but we're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing. Like, even though I'm like highlighting a lot of the things where these Democrats, where Van Jones is all of a sudden coming around to say nice things about Trump, all that's cool. But what if Kamala Harris won and y'all were still trying to get Kamala Harris to win? So it's like, are we just gonna now just embrace the fact like, oh, look at them, they're saying it now, even they get it? No, they been knew it. They understood it then. They're just doing what politicians do, and they want to associate themselves with winners, and they want to get themselves as far away from what she called as this Democratic stench of losers. That's what it comes down to for me. That's what it comes down to. Queen said Dems are soft. Anthony's wrote, that's crazy. They were surprised that she lost. To be honest, it's crazy that they were surprised that she lost, and it's crazy that as many people voted for Kamala Harris that did. Because think about it like this. If all of these Democrats now are coming out saying that Kamala Harris is a terrible candidate, the Democratic Party is lost, we don't know what their foundational values are, what they stand on, we don't agree with them, and these are Democrats and people that have supported and pushed and tried to convince us to vote Democrat. If all of them are saying that now, they knew it before, but they still were okay with misleading us to the point where Kamala Harris could still win a large percentage of the country. Think about that. And where a large percentage of the country hates Donald Trump, these people were they were the ones trying to convince us to hate Donald Trump. They were the ones. Ant wrote, so weak is I don't have the muscle, soft is not having the stomach. I like that. Put it on a t-shirt. And yeah. So weak is I don't have the muscle. Soft is not having the stomach. That 100%. And by not having the stomach, it could also be not having something a little bit lower than the stomach as well, and not letting them drop. You know what I'm saying? So however you want to look at it, soft, weak is not having the muscle. Soft is not having the courage, the stomach, the what Scott Jennings called the testicular fortitude to act on certain things, to speak truths, is what it is. Brandon wrote, we're exhausted with liars. The twisted hatred of control they have is beyond any understanding. They have targeted the weak-minded to count on them and the government to save them. Shira, I agree, Brandon. I agree. Shai wrote, she was never going to win. And I even want to go back to this comment by Brandon. We're exhausted with liars. That's the thing. People's exhaustion. And that's why I say like the cycle. It's like this is the perfect cycle. It's like people were so exhausted with all the lies. We were overwhelmed with all these lies, all the fear mongering from COVID, from Trump to January 6th to we're overwhelmed with it. Where now we just want some truth and common sense. And you're no longer going to discourage us from seeing Trump in a particular light by saying he's mean. He's a misogynist. He's racist. He's a bigot. Whatever. How's the economy? that's like miss me with all that. How's the economy? How's the border? Where are our dollars going to? We don't want our dollars funding this war. We don't want our dollars funding that war. Common sense. All right. These people that come here, okay, they're coming here, cool. But the ones that commit crimes, why are they not able to be deported? Why are the rules in place so we're not deporting them? Why do they have why are they getting the same level of support from our government financially that American citizens are getting? So all these different things are starting to come out. And it's almost like the perfect storm was created for Donald Trump. The perfect storm. It's almost a better storm than what was initially created by having the first black president, right? You had Barack Obama, and then they thought they were going to slide in the first woman president. So it was almost the perfect storm in a lot of ways for Trump to win then. But then it became the perfect storm for Biden to win with everything with 2020, all the fear mongering, of course, all the things we're calling Trump racist, all that other stuff. But now it's like we've reached that part of the cycle where people just want truth. People want truth. We're valuing truth over feelings. She was never going to win. Brandon wrote, they are not coming around to Trump. It's lies to get viewership back. Their jobs are on the chopping block. Again, all lies. None of it's real. Their entire platform is manipulation. I agree. I agree. And it's almost to the point, Brandon, where I'll be real. I almost respect in certain ways. That's going to be crazy that I'm using respect in the same sentence with Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow. But I almost respect the fact that Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow are still standing on a lot of their delusion. I guess I could I can't even throw Sunny Hostin in there. I can't. But maybe I should, because maybe it's like they're so out there, and I was going to say so dumb, but I won't say so dumb, but they're just so believing in something that, in my opinion, is so irrational, but they actually believe it. So it's almost like I give them more of a pass because they actually believe it. They're not budging. So, and I don't know if they have budged, but I don't see Joy Reid budging. Joy Reid is standing on what she stands on. All these other people that are I almost respect her more than the Joe Scarborough. Well, I guess I do respect her more than Joe Scarborough, who's going to tell us that Joe Biden has perfect cognitive ability, but then when Trump wins, completely flip the script and now be in favor. It's like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. They should pay back. Oh, what did Queez write? They should pay back all that money she raised. LOL, student loan forgiveness. Yo, this is what I don't get. Queez, if it was the OG network consulting for Kamala Harris, how many times have we said, Kamala, you raised $1.5 to $2 billion. You know what we'd have done? You know what? Instead of spending $100,000 here, spending all this BS, these millions here and there, what if you said, you know what? We're going to take half of the money that we raised. We're going to take $1 billion, or whatever half was, 750 million to $1 billion. We're going to take that money and we're going to give it to student loan forgiveness. I may not have agreed with it, but I would have had to at least acknowledge, like, damn, she's putting her money where her mouth is. She's standing on it. Would have been an easy tactic for her to get people behind her. But they're just so silly. Like, they're just so, and this just shows how disconnected they are. They're so disconnected. They really think that people are just going to vote for them no matter what. They think that like nobody's going to look at their pockets. Like they really hold themselves in such high regards. It's like, well, people give me money to make decisions, so I know what's best for them. Like that's the mindset of Democrats right now, and that's why they're losing. They're destroyed. The stench of it's a stench of losers. It's a stench of death. It's a stench of death that's going on right now. Hold on, let me make sure I catch up with all these. Queens wrote, Ant, that is a bar you came up with. That's what I'm saying. Like, hold up, put it on a shirt. Yes, Brandon. Anthony's wrote, gotta conduct an interview. Y'all be great. Queens, good luck with that. Appreciate the fire emoji. Shylock and Queens, I agree. Mama Lay wrote, Uncle Brother wrote, I like that. Anthony Lord, if you don't make the t-shirts, I will. There you go. Capitalism. Stand on it. And we go, matter of fact, Uncle Brother, we got to talk because we got to create, all joking aside. Oh, yeah, make sure that y'all make sure that you like for the algorithm. But Uncle Brother has a business that, will, and it's funny, I was talking to Mama Leslie on here, Uncle Brother, and and she was telling me about your business, the hot sauce, everything. And we need to be able to highlight your products, highlight the businesses and the services of anybody that's on the platform. That's like why we have a platform. So with the YouTube shop that we have on the OG network, let's figure out, let's get a 30-second commercial, say that you're we got Uncle Brother and his products, we're pushing, we're those are the sponsors of the show. Whatever we need to create, let's get a link so therefore we can promote everybody's products, everybody's services, everybody's businesses to where they can just click under these videos that we put out and buy your product. Like that's a total side note, but we were talking about that. Uncle Brother wrote, facts, Brandon. Ant wrote, you respect it for the same reason people support Trump, consistency. That's a fact, Ant. Brandon wrote, the media has created a platform of psychological warfare that has impacted the mental health of America. Damage has been done by this tactic, encouraged by millionaires and Hollywood corruption. That's a fact. Maya wrote, instead they wound up 20 million in debt. You talking about Kamala and them? Like, it's like, if that doesn't, this is the thing. I constantly just ask myself, what if she won? Like, what if she won? This is crazy. What if she really won? She couldn't manage $2 billion. She overspent $2 billion in 3 months. How do you even spend $2 billion? Even if you give Oprah $2 million, Barack a couple mil, Beyonce a couple mil, Meg Thee Stallion a couple mil, Al Sharpton a few hundred. Even if you do pay $100,000 for the Call Me Daddy studio, what does that amount to? Like 30 million? She spent $2 billion. 2 billion. What is $1 billion? 1,000 million, right? She spent $1 million 1,000 times. How do you mismanage that and wasn't even able to pay her employees their last couple checks? Like, come on now. This is the person that we were gonna hire as a CEO of the country. This is crazy. And they're still texting and emailing asking for money. That's a fact. Because that's too much right? Oh my God. Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid both are taking really high pay cuts, like millions of dollars. They standing on it. They saying, give me my pay cut. I don't care. I'm still spewing all this BS. I don't know. They have preyed upon innocent people for too long, causing some to give up and feel depressed about our nation. That may be the saddest part of all this, Brandon. That may be the saddest part of all this, and I got caught up with this. I got caught up with this where I was believing all the media lies with Trump, and it really just made me depressed about being an American. And when people are depressed about being Americans, we can be manipulated in a lot of different ways. We can be used as pawns to push a lot of negative energy out. It happens. It happened to me. I'm being totally honest. And when I say negative, I mean, it could be a lot of different types of negative. Counterproductive is negative in my opinion. So here I am. I'm over here pissed off because Trump said that he called Nazis and white supremacists fine people. So now I'm pissed off for 4 years. And then I realized he didn't even say that. He wasn't even saying, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, this is the question that I asked earlier. I don't even know if you were on, Brandon, but it's to your point. What would make us feel great about, what would make us proud to be American? Maybe that's what we should, like, when we look at what's our version of America being great, maybe that should be somewhere in the equation where it's like, okay, this is you know how they have approval ratings? It's like, let's create a poll or a rating where it's like, how many Americans are proud to be American? Maybe that's part of the equation of making America great. I don't know. Tell me his business name. I'll support it. All right. So, and I'll make sure that we look at, I'll connect it in the chat. Matter of fact, yeah, I need to purchase some too. So there you go. Great. Mama Labro, great idea. Let's hit up the hot sauce. This is how we're going to support. Let's support the people's who we're rocking with. Let's support our business. So therefore, we can have the courage and time, effort, and energy to have these real conversations to where we're not getting manipulated and controlled by what puts money in our pockets. You know what I'm saying? We can more so push our purpose. So that's what I'm on. Ant wrote, I'll sponsor a commercial for my company. How much a slot? Now we building. We got an economy. This is the goal. Forget all that other stuff. Create our own economy so that way we can create standards and rules that we feel are best for us. Yo, I'll send it over to you. Matter of fact, and I got something for you. I already packaged it out. We got a silver, we got a bronze program, we got a silver program, and we got the gold and we got the platinum. So I'll make sure that I send that over to you. Mama Lay wrote, Maya, great point. We dodged that bullet. That's a fact. Yeah, we dodged. Yo, just like Trump dodged. That's how I feel like with our country. You know how Trump was like, what? Like when he got hit in the ear, he like, what? Like that's how I feel with Kamala. Like yo, what was like? We dodged that bullet. We dodged it. And even people that voted for her, it's okay for y'all to acknowledge, like, yo, yeah, we may have dodged it. You don't even got to say we dodged it. We may have dodged it. Or just say, let's just see how it goes. Whatever you need to do. Mama Labro, I don't see any of Brandon's comments in the thread. Oh, because maybe Brandon may be on LinkedIn. So that may be why you're not seeing it. Yeah. Maybe I should tell people to tap in on YouTube mostly so everybody can see it. We'll figure it out. So Brandon wrote, they were successful doing it. Look at every piece of hate or struggle in our nation, all led by the corrupt media, racism, sexism, radicalism, anti-Americanism, hatred of each other, on and on. Ant wrote, that's a good question. What should American pride look like? Like, that's what should American pride look like? He said, good. Gold, silver, bronze. I see you. I really put this together. Ursi and I have been working on this for a few weeks. But yeah, we definitely put it together. All right, so let's finish it off with, I'm going to show two videos. A quick Kamala video. It's only a minute long. And then I'm going to show y'all a funny video that I promise y'all we won't get to the Lil Baby and Lil Yachty. But we'll start off. We'll use the Lil Baby and Lil Yachty video talking about marriage and whether or not it's a good move to officially sign that paper or not. We'll tap into that on Monday. We'll use that as the icebreaker. But let me show y'all these last two videos, and then we can get on with our Fridays. All right, so where's Kamala at? Kamala, where you at? Here we go. All right, on the screen, one sec. All right. Take a look. She's sober on this one, I think. Nah, let me stop playing.
So I will say this as we close out this year. I ask of you this. that those here and anyone watching, that you will not walk away, that you will stay true to your spirit and your sense of purpose, that you will continue to fight for the promise of America. And I ask you to remember the context in which you exist. Yeah, I did that.
I can't even front, yo. I almost just fell asleep. I forgot I was on the show. I swear to God. I just sitting back here, look, I was just thinking about a bunch of stuff. I just started daydreaming. I don't even know what she just said. Hold on. Y'all think I'm joking. I'm serious. And this is not the first time that I watched this clip. Like, I've watched part of it. Like, I've seen this part. And I said earlier, I was like, I don't know what she just meant. And I just fast forwarded. I was like, all right, I'll just, when we look at it live, I'll just figure it out.
Of America. And I ask you to remember the context in which you exist. Yeah, I did that.
Am I missing something?
I ask you to remember that this struggle is not new. It goes back nearly 250 years.
Yo, why are we still pushing this struggle? Like, shorty, we don't want to, like, stop. Your life isn't a struggle, so why are you trying to push that on us? Stop trying to push that poverty, pain, and struggle shit on us when you're not living that in your day-to-day life. Stop. We want to be happy. We want to be prideful. We want to feel good about being Americans. We want to be able to afford a certain lifestyle. We want to feel good about walking down the street and seeing people and being able to smile and just being in a happy situation, neighborhood, on the workforce, whatever that may be. Stop trying to push this divisive rhetoric of poverty, pain, and all this suffering stuff. You're not suffering.
To Lexington and Concord, generation after generation, it has been driven by those who love our country, cherish its ideals, and refuse to sit passive while our ideals are under assault.
Dare to issue.
Yo, it's kind of crazy. Honestly, yo, this is the disconnect. Who told her to do that? Like, who told her, yo, it's like, you ever had somebody amp you up to do something dumb? Like, but they know they laughing in the background, like, yo, we just told him to go holler at that shorty, bro. He don't got a chance. We told him that shorty said he was cute. She said he was ugly, but we still told him, like, yo, just to go get him to try to holler at her. That's what it's like. Kamala, who amped you up who told you that America needs you to inspire us right now? Who gassed you up? I'm over here spitting out my damn coffee. Who gassed you up to think that? The disconnect is real. And when you have all these yes people in your circle that do not keep it real with you, it's a problem. It's a problem. And we're seeing it come to light with Kamala Harris. Maybe it's a paid appearance. Maybe so. I still wouldn't be saying that. But honestly, I guess if I'm Kamala, in her eyes, she probably, life is good. Like, I don't think she is connected with people that tell her stuff how we may tell her. She doesn't even know. Uncle Brother wrote, I'm very honored by the shout outs, FYI. I'm in the rebuilding phase of relaunching the product line at the moment, seeking funding, backers, support, coming back soon. All right, well, shoot. Uncle Brother, what you need, baby? Put together the package, put together exactly what you need. Why can't we create, when we say we're creating an economy, right? Why can't we create a fund? Why can't we create our own Shark Tank? Why can't we create investment opportunities? We're all at that point. We're all looking at investments, right? Y'all hear me? Queez and I talk about Tesla all the time. Excited about that. All right, we're excited about that because I just believe Elon is never going to stop. I believe he's a workaholic. But shoot, let's invest in your business. Let's invest in our own. Let's invest in our own. All we have to do is let's look at what the people that are successful are doing, and let's do that. This is the whole point of community. So this community is not just about jumping on here and making fun of Kamala, making fun of Joe Biden, although that does provide a lot of comedic relief in our day-to-day lives. The objective is to serve a bigger purpose, to push us, to elevate, right? All these things that we talk about. This is part of it. So put that package together for us. You let us know what you need, and then we'll create what did Mama Lay wrote. We will create it. Whatever we need, let's create it. Whatever we need, let's create it. And that's what, see, to me, that's where I feel we're at our greatest. When we believe that we can solve our own problems. When we believe that when our first thought process is to solve our own rather than to complain about what's been done wrong to us by this group or that group or this group's great grandparents, they did it, so that's why we're messed. Nah. So look, we rocking with you. We rocking with you. We all got, if we all have different businesses to sell, why not create an economy? Why? Matter of fact, put it this way. Let's look at a list of things. What are a list of things that all of us buy? We all buy water. We all buy clothes. We all buy food. We all buy different things. If we may need at certain points in our lives, attorneys, real estate agents, all these different things. If we just have that all in this group, then everything just runs through this group. Well, so now y'all get where I'm going with this. Y'all get where I'm going with this. I already know it. I already know y'all can understand. I know y'all on the same page. So that's what we're doing this for. Just to be very clear. Just to be very clear, that's what we're doing this for. And Uncle Brother, how about this? How about this? This is something that, should I tell him what I was gonna do? Or, well, we need everybody's. How about this, Uncle Brother? Oh. We've made, I think, and the reason why I say that, I said on the other show, hold on. I have to make sure that the internet is working for this point that I'm getting ready to make. But the money that we've made thus far on the show, I think just with views and stuff, that I'm trying to push out more and more content. So therefore the views go up and we make more money on the network. How about this? We already spoke about this yesterday. I think we've made like $500 or $600 so far. That $500, $600, we're recycling that into us. Now, we were originally going to say like, all right, maybe we should get everybody a gift or a gift card, for the holidays, happy holidays, just divvy it up with the people. Y'all know the people that come here consistently. That's what it's for. We want to be able to give that money back. So, and y'all are all here. So maybe we can, instead of going out and buying gift cards, if somebody's selling something like an Uncle Brother and has a product, then okay, let's put together a package, a holiday package, where we can send everybody Uncle Brother's hot sauce, stuff like that. You know what I mean? And we can just pay with the money that we made on the network. This is why, and this is one of the reasons why maybe I should do it, but the reason why I just don't, in case y'all know, I don't want to put up the Cash App. I don't want to put up a super chat, even though y'all are so gracious and help with that. I don't want to do that. We should be getting paid by putting our products out there or by having outside advertisers pay us to advertise on our network. That's how I look at it. So that's the mindset. That's the goal. We're looking to create an economy here. Matter of fact, we are creating an economy. So looking forward to sending out whatever that little care package is for the new year for y'all, for the people that y'all know who y'all are, and just seeing how that plays out. So if anybody that, if y'all got some products that we can include in this goodie bag, help support your businesses, let us know. Let us know. All right, so the last video that we got a funny video to finish us off with, and then I'm gonna let y'all go for the weekend. All right, where's this video? All right, here it goes. One sec. Y'all gonna laugh at this video. Y'all are going to like this video. So make sure you watch this last video. Here it is.
But as we all know, it wasn't actually you who created it. As a matter of fact.
So this is an interview with Bill Gates. Dope interview. This interviewer, she's a legend. She gave one of the best interviews I've ever seen. She challenged Bill Gates in ways that I think people should be challenged. Take a look at this.
What have you contributed to the world?
I'm not sure if you're aware, but I created the world's most popular computer operating system.
No, of course. But as we all know, it wasn't actually you who created it. As a matter of fact, the predecessor of Windows, MS-DOS, was created by Gary Kildall, which you then basically stole from him for a couple of dollars.
It's not just development. There's a whole lot of important factors to running an enormously successful company like Microsoft.
So then let's leave the computer world for a moment. You have been a major spokesperson for COVID vaccines during the pandemic.
Yes.
What exactly makes you a computer engineer who didn't even program his initial product himself, a valid representative of the pharmaceutical industry?
I have read a lot of books about that
yes,
topic.
But how does that?
Wait a second. And met with specialists from the field all over the world.
Mr. Gates, with all due respect, how do you feel about it now? Now that it's becoming more and more evident that the medication you were promoting, whilst having heavily invested in it yourself, thus making billions of it.
This is not how the world works.
Has caused countless injuries, side effects, and death.
That's a very immature way of looking at it, quite frankly.
So here's my final question to you. Is this a behavioral pattern?
What do you mean exactly?
Taking technology from other people that you don't understand, selling a product full of bugs, causing massive damage and profiting from it in a spectacular.
All right, I'm joking. That was an AI. That was an AI interview. But when I first looked at it, I'm like, yo, she's pressing him. And then I realized that it was just a AI video. But hey, there's a lot of truth in these jokes, man. A lot of truth in these jokes. All right, so we're gonna finish that off. I'll finish the show off with that. Uncle Brother said, I'm speechless. Nah, this is what we do, Uncle Brother. Like this is, and what's so funny is everybody that taps in, like that's why I love the fact that the group is so natural and organic, whether people just join. It's really just off of energy, like good energy being put out there within our entire group, and then it just comes back. So I'm excited about, you know, and it's so funny. And so hold on. Damn, the service. All right, the service keeps going in and out, so I'm gonna talk real fast. But it's funny. We got to talk to Just been trying to push this OG investment fund for the longest. So for y'all that don't know, that's my older brother. He's been trying to push this investment fund. So Ed, I know you always talking to Just, so maybe that's something that y'all could take the lead on for us. So that'll be dope. Mama Lay, I know you writing wow to that interview. I know you writing wow to that. But yeah, so let's do this. We still got our 45 seconds. Y'all know what we do for the people that are just tapping in with us for the first time. At the end of every show, all right, the service is going in and out. At the end of every show, y'all know we do 45 seconds. 45 seconds, take the time to do whatever it is you need to do. Clear your mind or just focus on something. Manifest, get your breath work in, inhale positive, exhale all the negative. Whatever you need, 45 seconds. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes, take the time for yourself. Ready? Go. One last breath. Inhaling all the positive. Exhaling all the negative. Did he know this? Nah, Ant, the interview's hold on. Ant, the interview's fake. It's a fake interview. It's just some AI interview. Ant, I may have gotten cut off. Hopefully all y'all heard me say that interview is fake. I don't want y'all running around thinking that that's a real interview. I think it was fake. It had to be fake, right? Yo, it was fake. Yeah, it was fake. It was fake. The fact checker said it was fake. So, but it is what it is. So y'all know what we're here to do. Elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint, doing what we do. We raise our standards to become better leaders, and we raise our standards to accomplish the things that we set out to accomplish. Strength and honor, onward and upward. let's get to that bag. It's Friday. This is where we unload that bag at the end of the day and see if we were actually doing the things that are aligned with us getting to our purpose and pursuing purposeful abundance. All right. So what's in y'all bag is in y'all bag. What's in my bag? Peace, love, happiness, and of course, health, wealth, and everything we do. Integrity. And I know y'all being gracious. Mama Lay, you saying service is okay. You pulled it off just fine. Y'all being real gracious with me with the service. So I appreciate it. I do. And yeah, I appreciate it. I should have gone home and done it from my real studio and then came back. So shame on me, but I appreciate y'all. Uncle Brother sent the gang. Y'all know what it is. Y'all have a good weekend from Ant. And Ant sent the fire emojis for Queens. Ant, now you can send them too. That's both of y'all things now. That's both of y'all things. It's like Debo, like it's both our bikes. You know, it's like it's both of us. We just keep it at my house. So I'm going off on a tangent. I'm high off of this coffee. Let me get out of here. I'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a great one. Ew.